TVX.
Now, with all the latest stories making the headlines this evening, it's the ITV News at 10.
Seconds of madness, the devastation caused by Storm Garrett in Greater Manchester. Police say a localised tornado ripped roofs off homes, damaging around 100 properties. A hostage taken by Hamas, released last month, speaks for the first time about her abduction. How AI is helping the online scammers trick us all. And why people thought Blackpool Tower was on fire when it wasn't.
This is ITV News with Nina Hossain.
Good evening. The latest storm to hit the UK will have a lasting impact on many lives. Around 100 properties were damaged after a mini tornado tore through Greater Manchester late last night. It ripped off roofs and demolished walls. Parts of Scotland were badly affected too, with around 1,500 households being told they'll be without electricity until tomorrow as workers continue to try to restore power. Our correspondent Ben Chapman has the latest.
It's hard to imagine the intensity of the wind that ripped through here last night. Hard to believe the severity of the destruction it has caused. Residents were woken in the middle of the night to the sound of a tornado tearing through their town.
It was like a sudden 10 minutes and that was it. It was just like a hit and run. You know, this almighty thud against the sort of bedroom wall, which is like the third story up. And it was the gable end from next door, hit our wall on the way down.
Those whose homes were evacuated overnight returned in the light of day to assess the damage and in some cases count themselves lucky. Garrett's 2 teenage sons were in the upstairs bedrooms when the roof from next door came crashing through theirs.
My son in the front bedroom was sat underneath his cabin bed, gaming, and so he's been very lucky.
It's come through his bedroom?
It's come through his bedroom, and my lad at the back, the chimney stack, has gone through his room and he's been sat on that wall, and how he's not been seriously injured or worse, I don't know.
The police's description of this as a localised tornado certainly fits with the damage it has caused. This is somebody's roof, which is now just lying on the pavement. And there have also been just pockets of destruction. The vast majority of this town has escaped completely unscathed. Further north, in Ayrshire, even things designed to thrive on strong winds were no match for Storm Garrett. Tens of thousands of people in Scotland remained without power following yesterday's blizzards brought by the storm. At least 1,500 homes will remain cut off into tomorrow. In Fife, flooding caused homes and businesses to be evacuated in the town of Cooper. The speed with which the filthy water rushed through left residents with little chance to keep possessions dry.
It was scary because the water flow was really fast, you know, it was really strong. The current, there was like a current in it as well, and it was really fast, so we never had a chance to move much at all.
Tonight, police in North Yorkshire warned about wet and flooded roads after 3 men died when a 4x4 went into the River Esk in the North York Moors this afternoon. In Greater Manchester, the clean-up and the consequences from the tornado may last months for residents forced from their homes. But just as remarkable as the phenomenon itself is the fact that no one here was hurt. Ben Chapman, ITV News, Stalybridge.
Police in Sheffield say a father of 2 who died after a car ploughed into a crowd of people was a good Samaritan who was trying to help a stranger. The man was named tonight as Christian Marriott. He was 46. He was out for a walk with his family when he went to help a woman who was unconscious in the street yesterday afternoon. Police had already been called to a violent disturbance in the street when the car ploughed into those gathered outside. 2 men have been arrested. Next tonight, how scammers are getting more sophisticated and have caught people out over the Christmas period. The online criminals are using AI to trick victims into believing what they are seeing is real. Our consumer editor, Chris Choi, has the details.
Hello, how you doing?
Those season's greetings sound genuine, but the face, words and gestures you're seeing here are all fake, generated by artificial intelligence.
We've seen a huge evolution in the technology over the past year.
Anna Rowe was the victim of a fraudster. Now she's warning that this Christmas, new software has revolutionised online scams.
Now the scammers are able to feed that technology with pictures and voices, videos of the person they're using to scam with, and then it superimposes the face and the voice as the scammer is speaking on a video call.
She's found training groups for scammers. Here, the image on the right is a stolen identity, animated and made to talk in real time. When the operator on the left moves, the gestures are transferred. This can be sent via webcam to deceive the victim. And a con man can use AI to take on the identity of a woman.
I want to meet with you, okay? I really do want to meet with you.
Here the scam involves asking for an emergency loan.
When you're doing anything online now, it's assume nothing as being real on face value. Believe no one. So go off and do your research and check everything.
Next, I'm meeting AI fraudbuster Matt Lewis.
And we're now entering the season of the sales, potentially the perfect time for these fraudsters to piggyback on that.
Correct. A great time to capitalise on that. Also a cost of living crisis, so getting a bargain is even more important than ever. And so we can use these tools to try and create those very enticing ways for people to click on links and maybe try and deceive them in some manner.
And this Christmas, criminals can use artificial intelligence emails to get personal. And here's how it's done.
We chose yourself, Chris, as the victim, and what we did was go online, look at some social media, look at your profile. You're from Yorkshire, you like the Yorkshire countryside, so just using those little bits to sprinkle in some personalisation. So you can now do a scaled-based attack against hundreds or thousands of people that are very personalised on an individual basis.
AI has the potential to help millions, but some of the earliest to embrace it are only interested in helping themselves. Chris Choi, ITV News.
One of the Israeli hostages taken by Hamas during the October the 7th attacks has spoken for the first time about her ordeal since she was released last month. Mia Shem describes being pulled out of a burning car and taken to her abductor's family home. And today another Israeli hostage has been confirmed dead. Carrie Davis has the details.
There is nothing more important, they chant. Every captive must return. The cry of young Israelis marching on Jerusalem, demanding all hostages being held in Gaza are released. Hope has been extinguished for one family, 70-year-old Judy Weinstein. Hope has been extinguished for one family. 70-year-old Judy Weinstein has today been confirmed dead. It's emerged the American-Canadian Israeli was fatally wounded, along with her husband Gad Haggai, during the 7th of October attack. Their bodies are believed to still be in Gaza. US President Joe Biden sent his condolences to the couple's 4 children. They have been living through hell for weeks, he wrote. No family should have to endure such an ordeal. And I reaffirm the pledge we have made to all the families of those still held hostage. We will not stop working to bring them home. Those already released now must deal with the trauma. 21-year-old Mia Shem was snatched when Hamas terrorists targeted the Nova Music Festival. She says she was dragged from a burning car, taken to Gaza and held captive in the home of her abductor. Entire families are in the service of Hamas, she says. I began asking myself questions. Why am I being held in a family's home? Why are there children here? Why is there a woman? These 3 hostages came close to escape, only to be shot dead by the soldiers sent to bring them home. The Israeli military this evening published a report in which they accept responsibility. A soldier stood at a window with limited visibility, a spokesman says. He made a mistake. He fired mistakenly. For Gazans, with Israel expanding its military operation in the south, safe refuge is increasingly difficult to find. The Palestinian Red Crescent says dozens have been killed in strikes close to Khan Yunis's major hospital this week. Hamas says it's no longer interested in temporary pauses in fighting and that the remaining hostages will only be released after a definitive end to aggression. But Israel has brushed off international calls for a ceasefire. They say that would mean terrorists have won. Carrie Davis, ITV News.
Back here, and it's been a night of shocks in the Premier League. Arsenal look set to miss out on the opportunity to go top as they currently trail West Ham 2-0 with less than a minute to play. The Gunners will feel hard done by as the ball looked to have gone out in the lead-up to the Hammers' first goal, but VAR controversially upheld the decision. Holly Willoughby will return to television to present Dancing on Ice in January. ITV announced she'll present the show alongside Stephen Mulhern. Mulhern will replace Philip Schofield, who left ITV earlier this year after he admitted having an affair with a younger former colleague on This Morning. And commemorative coins celebrating Sir Winston Churchill, Buckingham Palace and the RNLI have been unveiled by the Royal Mint. They're among 5 new designs celebrating key events and anniversaries taking place in 2024. Finally tonight, when people in Blackpool were out for a winter walk this afternoon and looked up at the town's iconic landmark, they feared the worst. What looked like flames could be seen at the top of the tower. The fire brigade was called, a helicopter went up, people were told to stay away. And then they realised what had actually happened. Here's Harry Horton.
At the top of the tower today, what looked like flames. Worried onlookers in Blackpool called the fire service. 6 fire engines were deployed. A police helicopter and a rope team were launched to get a closer look. The tower was evacuated and people told to stay away. But on closer inspection, there was no smoke and no fire.
What it actually was, I know you'd be keen to know what it was some orange netting that flapped about in the wind. We had to deploy one of our rope rescue teams, which is a specialist working at height access team. We were supported from colleagues from National Police Air Service as well. So at the same time, our teams were gaining access and getting eyes on and then sending radio messages down to the crews on the ground level. The National Police Air Service were in their helicopter and doing a thermal scan.
Lancashire Police said 1 man was arrested near the scene on suspicion of breach of the peace. Tonight, Blackpool Tower is lit up once again, but this time not by fire and not by orange netting. Harry Horton, ITV News.
And that's it for tonight. From all the team here, enjoy the rest of your evening. Good night.
It's a cold